Hi everyone and welcome to my new V-Ray tutorial. It's been a while since my last tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to use V-Ray HDRI maps for light source, for lighting in your scene, along with the directional light with V-Ray shadows. First thing and the main thing you're going to need in order to complete this tutorial is V-Ray renderer. Many people told me that once they open up their 3ds Max and they go to render setup, they don't have V-Ray as a renderer here. It's because V-Ray doesn't come with 3ds Max. It is a separate plugin. Okay, so you're going to need V-Ray. You're going to need one or more HDRI maps, hyperfocal sky maps. You can find those very easily on internet. There are many great free textures, so just type something like hyperfocal HDRI map texture. It doesn't matter, I'm sure you will come up with something. So use Google a little bit, find some hyperfocal maps. They look like this. I'm going to show you a few examples. I already have downloaded previously, so this is one example. So basically it's sky texture. Here are a few more examples. So you're going to need this in order to complete this tutorial, and you will need some sample scene. I'm going to use this is one of the scenes that I'm currently working on. It is still heavy work in progress. It doesn't even have textures or materials, but it doesn't really matter because for this tutorial this is going to be just fine. You should make one of your own scene before we continue. I mean, you can create a really simple one, like I'm sorry, I didn't hide everything. I'm going to hide this, and you can create something like a plane and few boxes or some objects here. It really doesn't have to be anything complicated because we just need a few objects to see the effect in the end. Okay, so I'm going to delete this now, and I'm going to use my scene here. Okay, right, so first we're going to start off by setting our renderer to be V-Ray. So we can do that by clicking on rendering, go to render setup, under the command tab parameters, scroll all the way down and find assign renderer. Here under the production, by default it will be set to default scanline renderer. We have to change that to V-Ray. So click on this box and switch to V-Ray. Once we're done with this, we can start setting up our scene, setting our HDRI maps to be one of our light sources. To do that, open up Material Editor by pressing M on your keyboard, and we're going to use first 3 slots for HDRI maps. So let's start by changing from standard material type to V-Ray HDRI. To do that, click on Get Material icon and scroll all the way down until you see V-Ray HDRI. Let me just give you one note. If you don't have V-Ray installed, you won't be able to see this V-Ray HDRI material here. So I'm going to double click this and I'm going to do the same for the second slot and same for third slot. Okay, and I'm also going to put same HDRI map in all 3 slots. So I'm going to use same map. I'm going to explain later why I'm using 3 slots. So click on browse, and I'm going to use sunset image. That's the first one I showed you when I was showing you these hyperfocal maps, and I'm going to place same map in all three slots. Okay, now you will start understanding why I'm using 3 slots. First one, I'm going to call it lighting. Then I'm going to call second one reflection, and I'm going to call the third one environment. So this way I have separately lighting reflection, and environment maps, and this way I can separately control overall multiplier for each of these maps, which is really a handy way. I mean, it's easier to work this way instead of having one map which controls everything. Also, very important, change all three map types to spherical environment. And I'm just going to switch back to default values here. It's 1 for all three maps. Okay, once you're done with this, we're going to start setting up each map we want this one to be our light source, we want this one to be our reflection source, and we want this one to be our environment. So click on rendering or render setup and go to V-Ray tab and find V-Ray environment. We're going to turn on GI environment override and reflection override. And now I'm going to click and drag lighting map to GI environment slot override, and I'm going to click and drag reflection to the reflection override. Okay, once you're done with that, you can close this dialog and you can open up environment dialog. You can do that by clicking on rendering and go to environment. Other way around would be to simply press number 8 on your keyboard. That will also bring up this environment dialog. So I'm going to click and drag my third environment map to environment map slot here. Okay, so now we want to be able to see our environment in our perspective viewport. So I'm going to set we're going to do that by activating perspective viewport. You can right click on it if it isn't activated, and then press on your keyboard shortcut Alt B, Alt plus B. This will open up viewport background dialog. Here I'm going to pre-check use environment background, and I'm going to pre-check display background. As you can see, now we have our environment displayed in our perspective viewport. Unfortunately, in many cases the environment won't animate itself, so you will have to refresh it manually each time you move your camera around. You can do that by pressing Alt B shortcut again to bring up viewport background dialog and just press OK. As you can see, that refreshes my my environment in viewport. Okay, so actually this would be all in the first part. In the second part we're going to create one directional light and match our directional light position. We'll try to match it to the position of the sun on our HDR image. Thank you for watching first part. We'll see you in the second part.